And welcome back to Hannity. Joining me now are two men who are trying to get to the bottom of these lies and cover-up. Congressman Issa and Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz is with us. All right, so we just heard from Charles Woods, the father of this American hero. Here's a Navy SEAL. He's a mile away. He's not at the consulate. He hears the cries for help. He is told to stand down twice. He puts his military career, his life in jeopardy, and then gives his life because he's not, and saves about, what, 30 people. I mean, how is it possible, and he was killed 7 hours later, how is it possible, Congressman Issa, that everybody was requesting help both before and during, and no help came? How is that possible?
Well, Sean, as you know, our men and women in uniform believe that you respond. You don't leave people out there unprotected, and you certainly don't leave people behind. So he was doing the right thing, and I think his father deserves to be outraged that 7 hours passed, and while overhead Predator aircraft could see what was going on, no aircraft, no support was brought in to protect these men and women that could have prevented the loss of his son and the others.
You know, Congressman Chaffetz, my sources tell me that we're talking about 2 videos and audio that are available right now. In other words, that we've got the drone video. We have on the compound, this was in real time, the State Department viewed this, and then I'm told that there were audio tapes, and this is what Tyrone Woods, this Navy SEAL, was hearing, which caused him to disobey orders to go save American lives. Is there any way the American people can hear and see the evidence?
Well, first of all, God bless them. You know, the men and women who step up and do this, gosh, and you just know that there were others that had proximity that also wanted to come to their aid. Remember, we had a hearing about this, and the State Department official, Charlene Lamb, she testified that they were witnessing this in real time, starting back at 9:40, and this attack happened at 4 a.m. I just don't understand what was taking so long and why we didn't send help.
Well, and also, as I understand it, this was all going on the Situation Room. They could have pulled up this video. Is that true? In other words, as it was coming in, didn't our intelligence, didn't the White House have the ability to pull up that video? Did nobody tell them what was happening, but yet they were convened in the Situation Room? Did we have an answer to that, Congressman Issa?
Well, Sean, we do, and unfortunately, 100% of our answers are coming from whistleblowers. 100% of our answers are coming from people who can't take the lies coming out of the State Department and out of the White House, and they're the ones that are letting us know about the video, about the inability for people who were ready to respond, essentially about the cover-up of this being a terrorist attack before, during, and after it occurred. And that's what we're seeing more and more. Before, when there were previous attacks in June, nothing was done because they didn't want it to look that way. During the attack, they wanted to pretend like it wasn't happening, even at the cost of lives. And then afterwards, even after it was clear the president knew this was a terrorist attack, he continued for 2 weeks to have the American people want to believe that it was somebody in L.A. And understand, the Secretary of State made a promise to get the man in L.A. arrested, and they did get him arrested on a technicality, very clearly part of furthering a conspiracy to lie to the American people. And it's what I think is upsetting Americans. This shouldn't be a campaign issue, but you can't lie to the American people about the growth and the threat of al-Qaeda and then not expect the CIA and other loyal Americans to leak.
All right, so Congressman Chaffetz, let me stay on this before, during, and after, because before this attack took place, the ambassador requested additional security, was denied, and then it was even decreased. So that's now been established. Then during the attacks, as they're occurring, there's an urgent request for military backup, multiple requests as the attack is going on, and that is denied, even though we have military within an hour away. And then after that, the president, up to 2 weeks later, goes on The View and denied still it was a terrorist attack, points to this video, which had nothing to do with it, and says it was spontaneous, and it wasn't spontaneous. And as a result, we got 4 Americans dead, our embassy burned out, and the president lying for 2 weeks. Is there any possible way he did not know
There cannot be. We see emails that went directly into the Situation Room there at the White House. They were copied into the other intelligence agencies. They testify that they were witnessing it in real time. And what's just infuriating is that you talk to these families, you just interview these families. They don't know what's happened. I can tell you, though, that I went to Libya. I visited with General Ham, who's the 4-star general there in charge of the continent of Africa. I asked him if he had the capability, if he had the proximity. The answer was yes. But I said, why didn't we act? And he said, because he wasn't asked to. Now, he's a 4-star general. There aren't many people between him and the president. Somebody did not decide to take action.
And the president ducked this question earlier. We played this in the A block. The president was asked whether or not they denied the military that was requested during an attack. Remember, Tyrone Woods was killed 7 hours after he went against orders to stand down. It was 7 hours later, and he went back and he fought after multiple requests. They could have, and our military was less than 2 hours away. So who made the decision not to grant this request?
Sean, let's also remember that after he was killed, there was still hours more before we got more than a dozen people out of there to a safe haven where they could get to the airport. So it was still going on after Woods was killed.
What a shame.
Well, Sean, the undeniable truth is the president wanted to say in a debate that he told everyone that this was a terrorist attack 2 days later, and then on The View he wants to tell people it wasn't. The question is, which time was he lying?
Yeah, and David Letterman, and on Jon Stewart it wasn't, quote, optimal, which is pretty cold. All right, guys, thank you both. We're going to stay on the story. And
thank you, Sean.
I would like to see that video. Any chance we get to see it before the election? Hear the audio?
I hope so. We should. We should. It's out there.
Only if it's leaked to us.
The president said he would. He said he'd show it as the information's out there.
Well, let's see President Transparency. Mr. President, let the American people see this. Let's get this in real time.